Ever scratched your head over Amazon's return policy? You're not alone. For years, Amazon's return policy has been a topic of discussion, leaving many in a state of bewilderment. It's like a jigsaw puzzle with 1,000 pieces, and each piece is a different shade of gray. Amazon's return policy on the surface seems straightforward, but dig a little deeper and you'll find a maze of conditions, exceptions, and fine print that would baffle even the most seasoned online shopper. It's a labyrinth of rules, a riddle wrapped in an enigma. The free returns banner is alluring, but what does it really mean? Is it truly free, or are there hidden costs lurking in the shadows, waiting to ambush you? What about the time frame for returns? We've all seen that 30-day return window, but is it as flexible as it appears? And let's not forget those pesky restocking fees. What are they, and when do they apply? It's a mystery, one that's as intriguing as it is frustrating. It's the enigma code of the shopping world, a puzzle that has left many a shopper scratching their heads in confusion. It's a question that has been asked over and over again, yet no one seems to have a definitive answer. But why is it so complex? Well, that's another mystery in itself. Is it a clever marketing ploy designed to keep you guessing, or is it a necessary evil, a byproduct of the vast array of products and services that Amazon offers? Whatever the reason, one thing is clear. Understanding Amazon's return policy is crucial. It can be the difference between a smooth, hassle-free return and a nightmare of unexpected charges and complications. It's a puzzle that needs solving, a mystery that needs unraveling. So let's put on our detective hats and dive into the labyrinth. Let's decipher the code, piece together the puzzle, and find the answers that have eluded us for so long. Let's unravel this mystery together, shall we? Recently, Amazon introduced new return fees. Let's get into the details. In an interesting turn of events, Amazon has decided to switch things up a bit. They've introduced a new set of return fees that has everyone buzzing. But what exactly does this mean? Well, let's break it down. The new return fees are calculated based on a number of factors. First, the type of product you're returning. Is it a small, lightweight item or a heavy, bulky one? This will greatly affect the return fee. Just imagine the difference between returning a paperback novel and a refrigerator. The logistics involved in each return are vastly different, and so are the costs. Secondly, the condition of the product is taken into account. Did you open the product, or is it still sealed in its original packaging? An unopened product can be put back on the shelf and sold again. However, once a product is opened, it needs to go through a process of inspection and possibly refurbishment before it can be resold. This process comes with its own costs, which are factored into the return fee. Another factor is the reason for the return. Did the product arrive damaged, or did you simply change your mind about the purchase? If the product was faulty or not as described, Amazon covers the return costs. But if you're returning the product because you changed your mind, you will have to bear the return fee. Last, but certainly not least, is the location of the return. Are you returning the product to an Amazon warehouse, a drop-off location, or is it a doorstep pickup? Each option has a different cost associated, with doorstep pickups usually being the most expensive. So as you can see, the new return fees are not as straightforward as they might seem at first glance. They're a complex calculation of various factors, each with its own weight in the equation. Now that we've covered the basics, it's time to dig deeper. The devil is in the details, as they say. Let's dive into the fine print of these new fees. Now, we're all familiar with the old saying, nothing in life is free. Well, it seems Amazon has taken that to heart with their new return fees. But before you get too concerned, let's break down the specifics. First, it's important to note that these fees aren't universal. They apply mainly to items that are returned because they are no longer wanted or needed. This means if your item is damaged or not as described, you won't be hit with a return fee. Next, size matters. For small, lightweight items, the return fee is relatively low. Think of it as a flat-rate shipping cost. But for larger, heavier items, the cost to return can get a bit steep. So, before you order that 10-foot teddy bear, be certain it's what you really want. Also, keep in mind that the return fees vary depending on the original shipping method. If you used a premium shipping method like 1-day or 2-day shipping, the return fee will be higher than if you use standard shipping. Interestingly, Amazon Prime members aren't exempt from these fees. While Prime members enjoy many benefits, avoiding return fees on unwanted items isn't one of them. And finally, pay attention to the return window. Amazon allows a 30-day window for most returns. If you try to return an item after this period, you may be subject to an additional restocking fee. So the takeaway here is that while these new fees may seem daunting, they're not as scary as they first appear. With careful shopping and a clear understanding of the return policy, you can avoid most, if not all, of these fees. In a world where convenience is king, it's easy to forget that every action has a cost. But by reading the fine print and understanding the specifics, we can make informed decisions and shop smarter. Understanding the fine print can save you from unpleasant surprises. So, what do these new return fees mean for the everyday shopper? First and foremost, let's talk about impact. These return fees could potentially mean a little extra pinch in your pocket. Say, for instance, you've purchased a pair of shoes that turned out to be the wrong size. If you decide to return them, you may be faced with a return fee. This additional cost could make you think twice about the ease of online shopping, especially when it comes to items that require a perfect fit. But it's not all doom and gloom. There's a silver lining to this cloud. These changes could encourage more thoughtful and intentional purchases. Instead of mindlessly adding items to your cart, you might find yourself taking an extra moment to consider your choices. You'll ask yourself, do I really need this? Is this the right size? Is this the best price? And in the long run, this might actually save you money. Now let's talk about some strategies to navigate these new waters. One of the most effective ways to avoid these fees is to ensure you're making the right purchase from the get-go. Do your research, check reviews, product descriptions, and size charts thoroughly before clicking that Buy Now button. Another tip is to leverage Amazon's customer service. If you're unsure about anything, reach out to them. They're there to help, and it's always better to ask than to be surprised by an unexpected fee. And finally, consider using Amazon Locker returns, which are usually free. Not only will this save you from the return shipping fees, but it also provides a quick and hassle-free return process. The introduction of these return fees is undoubtedly a significant change in the online shopping landscape. But remember, change isn't always bad. It can be an opportunity for growth, a chance to develop better shopping habits. Knowledge is power, and knowing these details can help you shop smarter. We've covered a lot of ground today. Let's recap. In the vast labyrinth of online shopping, navigating the return policies can sometimes feel like a Herculean task. But today, we've demystified the enigma that is Amazon's new return fees. We've peeled back the layers, exposing the core of what these changes mean for you, the consumer. We've learned that Amazon, the titan of online retail, has implemented new return fees. This change might seem daunting at first, but it's important to remember that these fees aren't arbitrary. They're a response to a complex set of factors, including logistical challenges and the cost of processing returns. We've delved into the fine print, discovering that these fees aren't a flat rate, but rather depend on a variety of factors. These include the reason for the return, the item's condition, and whether or not the product was purchased during a promotional period. It's crucial to remember that some items may be subject to additional fees if returned beyond the 30-day return window. And what does this mean for you? Well, it means that being attentive to the details of your purchases is more important than ever. It's about understanding the terms and conditions before clicking that Buy Now button. It's about ensuring you're aware of the return policy for each item in your cart. In essence, these new return fees are a call to action for all of us to be more conscious consumers, to read the fine print, to understand the policy, to make informed decisions. To wrap this up, while the new return fees might seem like a hurdle, they're not insurmountable. With a little bit of knowledge and a dash of vigilance, you can navigate the world of online shopping with confidence. And isn't that what we all want? To shop with peace of mind, knowing that we're not just passive consumers, but informed participants in the digital marketplace. Remember, when it comes to online shopping, being informed is your best defense against unexpected costs.